And we are live on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Harry Mays, Barrett Brooks, you are in the middle as we are just days away from turning the calendar to September, and the preseason schedule is finally behind us. I don't know how long we waited for that stinking Jets-Eagles game, but thank God I can retire that banner behind me until they actually play in the regular season later on this year. But man, we got a lot of news this weekend, a lot of it Eagles related, just a lot of sports stuff that I find really interesting.
No question.
And I'm not even talking about the golf, but the golf was fantastic. We might be able to hit on that at some point, whether today or tomorrow. But man, there's so much Eagles stuff. Barrett, I'm just going to throw out a couple of headlines here for you regarding the Eagles, or like, phrases, a name of a player, and you tell me where you want to start. Okay, so
right.
we'll start it off with Gardner Minshew, the dude right over my shoulder. All right, mustachioed dude with the shades. He's got the shirt unbuttoned down to his navel, coming off an airplane. He wears jorts. I mean, this guy is now on the team, on the roster on Saturday. Howie Roseman pulled the trigger. They put Nick Mullins into the ejection capsule and hit the button and shot him into the moon because he stinks. Okay,
and you made a point to make sure with every point that you could say that Nick Mullins stinks.
Well, he stinks here. I mean, he wasn't that bad when he was in San Francisco.
He wasn't good either. That's why he didn't get back.
Shanahan, though. I mean, Shanahan at least made him look serviceable. I don't know what happened to him here, because when they acquired him, I'm thinking, yeah, he's pretty good third string quarterback. That's not bad. Maybe he even beats out Flacco. Who knows?
Right.
Well, that didn't happen. But they pull the trigger on Minshew, who I said this to a couple of my friends in a text chain as soon as the deal went down, and I saw it. Ian Rappaport, I believe, I saw his Twitter on Saturday morning, and I immediately favorited it and put down hashtag quarterback factory, because that's what we have here. We have a quarterback factory, and anytime you start to forget that, Howie Roseman does something to make you remember. And he's getting Minshew. I'm thinking, you know what? You could make a case, because there's so much we don't know about Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And we still don't know anymore because he didn't play again on Friday night. And we'll get to that. But you could make a case that Minshew might be the best quarterback on the team. Seriously, is that out of line to say that a guy being brought in here to essentially maybe be the third string quarterback could essentially really be the best quarterback?
There's no question about that. He's very serviceable. He can start. He's a starter in the league.
Yeah.
Regardless of the team he just left, he made the guys on that roster look pretty good, during certain sports throughout the season a couple years ago.
Right.
So Minshew was vying for the starting job. Now he have a snowball's chance of starting over, the Trevor Lawrence, but
right,
yeah, this kid's a starter, man. I mean, look at him, man. When you said let's just throw out some adjectives of how he looked. Look at that. When you back up, look, what I think? I think of that show Blow. You remember Blow?
Yes, of course. Johnny Depp. He's Johnny Depp in Blow. Right.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That's who he is, man.
He's got jorts on sometimes. I mean,
right.
When was the last time you rocked the jorts? I'm talking. I know I had a pair. They were not the fringed, they weren't cut off jean shorts. They were actual jorts, because they were somewhat popular in the 90s. And I want to say, I'm thinking maybe, 1996 maybe? Was that a year? I had one pair of jorts. I own up to it. Okay. And when I was a kid in the 70s, everybody wore jean shorts as a kid. Your mom would just take the jeans that got holes in the knees and all that stuff. She'd just cut them off, and then you wear them as shorts. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I must have blown out about 1,000 pairs of jeans where the need was, because all the stuff we was doing, playing football in the
playing
park,
tackle football on a dirt lot, and you're tearing up your jeans,
tearing them up, man. So or I walked on the back of them. You know what I'm saying? They're so long. I walked on the back of them, so they just turned and just got shredded. Right. So yeah, man. But I mean, this guy, man, he brings a lot of character.
Yes.
Into not just the locker room, but in that meeting room, because we have some pretty, you know, I would say bland quarterbacks. I mean, Hurts is a great guy as far as
he's a good leader, good teammate kind of guy.
Great guy. Yeah. But as far as you know, some character. Yeah. I don't see much character. This guy brings a lot of character, not just to that room, but to that locker room. Period.
You know who this guy would have fit in well with back in the day?
Who?
The Oakland Raiders under Madden back in the 70s. Like he's like Kenny Stabler, you know, kind of, you know what I mean? Like
he would hang out with Matt Millen.
Exactly. No, maybe dude dresses the part, and he's just like he's got a lot of like swagger to him.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine him, Minshew, and Dickerson hanging out of the club, man?
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe they'll become famous friends. I mean, I don't know where is Dickerson. Where is he from originally? Like, what's?
You know what? I don't know.
I'm assuming he's somewhere down south because Minshew
has to.
Minshew, I think, is from like Mississippi or Alabama. Here, let me look this up. Gardner Minshew. Yes, he was born in Mississippi. Okay, there is a little history on Gardner Minshew. He actually went to high school in Mississippi and was a 3-star recruit and committed to play at Troy University in Alabama.
Okay.
For some reason, he didn't attend school there. Or actually, he did for a semester on an academic scholarship, but then transferred out to that Northwest Mississippi Community College. I think that's that school that was featured in a documentary series. They're like a JUCO down south.
Yeah,
somebody on the stream will tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the school. So he goes there and then comes and transfers to ECU, East Carolina. In fact, I think I remember seeing him play against Temple one of the years he was there. And he leaves there with a degree. He graduated and then went to Washington State as a graduate.
Yeah,
so he could just immediately play.
Fifth year guy,
like Russell Wilson did when he left NC State and went to Wisconsin. Yeah, a lot of them are doing.
Hurts did, yeah.
Right. He went to Oklahoma as a graduate. So that's just a little bit of history. But John McMullen put out a piece on him today or yesterday or today in the Philly Voice. I think it's today. And, it's about Minshew mania. And he goes through his numbers here in the about the third paragraph. He started 20 games over 2 seasons. His numbers, 501 completions in 797 passing attempts for 5,530 yards, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And his passer rating was 93.1.
Killing Carson.
That's not too bad.
Killing Hurts.
Right? And the other thing about it is it makes it interesting. He has 2 years left on his contract, which was his rookie deal. And since he was taken way down in the 6th round, it's not for a lot of money.
Right.
So he's set to make $850,000 this year and even less than $1 million again next year.
Wow.
So it's a pretty shrewd move from Howie Roseman. But my question is what does this do now if Jalen Hurts gets off to a slow start?
I think they just weather the punishment, because I know they're not going to put in they're not going to put anybody else in. They're just going to weather it out. That's all. That's all I can see them doing. Yeah, I can see them just weathering it out because they don't want to go out there and play Minshew right now, for sure. Because they don't need that, right? They've had enough of this quarterback carousel. I think they're going to slow down and let this guy go a little bit. I'll tell you this though, talking about 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in and takes over for Foles, like Foles did for Carson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, down in Jacksonville.
6 degrees of separation. And he becomes a major star, and Foles comes back, and they start Foles, and he gets hurt again. But, got to get him out of there. Right. So, at this point, we just can't get away from Foles. The whole connection, man. The whole connection is
it's funny because Foles apparently is now up for trade too, as we kind of suspected a couple of weeks ago. I think there's going to be a lot of movement here in these next couple of 2 weeks because we now have 13 days until the Eagles play on Sunday. But it's even 9 or 10 days until the actual thing gets underway Thursday night with Dallas and the Buccaneers. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement. That teams need to get down to 53 by tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah. So
a lot of guys have some sleepless nights right now, man. The next 2 nights, the last 3 nights, guys haven't been sleeping too well. Put it like that. And what's really messed up, because I talked to the guys on Birds 365. If you look at this, those guys have to practice today, and cut day is tomorrow.
Yeah,
bro, you couldn't do that to me. If I knew I was gonna get cut, I'd come up with something. I got a concussion, or my leg, I'd pop the. I'd do something.
You got a soft tissue injury, right? Well, that would all but assure you're cutting. Like, don't you think this is one last practice?
If you're gonna get cut anyways, like,
well, how do you know you're gonna get cut?
Well, you're right. You're right. But hey, man, this is one of those situations where it's hard, man. It's hard when you're a player. You're sitting back and all you're thinking about, your stomach is just butterflies in it. You're ready to throw up the entire time. The next 2 days was just a horrible feeling, man. Just a horrible feeling.
Wow.
So I didn't get cut until my 7th year in the league. It was my 7th year when I got cut, because I didn't sign back with the Eagles.
Now, that was in training camp you got cut?
Yes.
Okay.
I got the last cut.
What do you remember about that?
I remember it actually being like, I was like, what am I going to do? So I just sat in my my hotel room. I didn't even tell my wife, and I just sat in my hotel room. And I was just sitting there. I was just like, I cannot believe I just got cut.
Now, was this Detroit? What team was this?
No, this was Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Cleveland.
Wow, the Browns cut you?
Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous. That's a joke. Just another one of their bad moves,
bro. And it was Davis. Davis was the coach.
Oh, Butch Davis.
Davis, and he had this kid from Miami, and he had got cut like the day before, and he wanted to bring it out. And I was actually starting at guard. I was starting left guard. And they called a play 17 power. And when I pulled around, I went into the wrong hole. I went into the hole before and then Butch Davis got pissed off. Like, is he really getting pissed off over this play? We're practicing, so we learned this. I mean, we just learned to play. Is he really pissed off? And he took me out and putting somebody else in. I thought it was like, what is he all tripping off this for? Man, everybody makes a mistake. Well, that's what it was. He wanted to find a reason to get me out of there to justify it.
And you gave it to him. You served it up on a silver platter by going in the wrong hole.
If only I knew the famous quote, "I hate to do it to you."
Yeah, exactly right.
I did it to myself.
I hate to do it to me.
So they brought in this kid. The kid never played. Then they're gonna call me back to say, hey, won't you come up? But then the day they were before they were gonna call me back, 1911 happened. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't come back. I ended up going to Denver, and then from Denver I went to Green Bay. Right. But it was just like a crazy time during that time, man. Crazy.
9/11 happened during right then.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So everything just shut down. Everything.
20th anniversary coming up.
Yeah. So talking about bad luck, bro.
Right.
9/11 happened, and that was just crazy. Man, I can remember I was sitting there because I had just fielded a whole bunch of calls from teams. I talked to I actually talked to the Eagles again. I had talked to the Giants, San Diego, and then the Broncos called. And I'm like, you know what? And then bam, 9/11 happens. After I get off the phone, 9/11 happens. So I'm looking at this stuff happening after I get off the phone with Denver. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at like, I can't believe this is happening. You know what I'm saying? I was just in amazement. I was in awe. Like, what is
Denver
going
was
on?
playing in that game, that Monday night game, the night before. 9/11 was on a Tuesday morning. Yeah,
exactly.
Were they playing the Giants that night? I think they opened their new stadium that night, Invesco Field at Mile High, because I remember watching it in a hotel room, and then the next morning, sitting there watching, I don't know, Today Show or Good Morning America or something, and saw the same stuff you were watching. It's just awful.
I was like, I'm actually sitting. I was sitting in my office in my house, and I'm feeling good about myself. I mean, can you imagine getting? I had gotten 3 or 4 calls before 9 o'clock even happened. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
from teams that were interested.
Right. So I'm pretty, feeling pretty good about it. And I'm just about to call my agent, call him back and tell him how the conversation went. And I look at the TV and I'm like, what is going on? And at the time, my wife was in school. She was in school. She was not nursing school. She was getting her MBA in nursing education. And she was like, look at this. And she was just like in a maybe. She was like, she said, turn the TV on. And I turned it on and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, man.
Amish Bahat says, yes, Giants Broncos, September 10th, 2001, prior to the tragedy the next day. And the Joey B, very active as usual on the stream, says, does Gardner Minshew drive the black Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit? Now, I could see that. I mean, if you were trying to pick out a car for this guy, like the Trans Am, with the
T-top,
T-top roof, the big bird on the hood. I mean, seriously.
With Landon Dickerson on the other side, sitting on the door and him driving.
Sitting there in the bib overalls and a straw hat with Landon Dickerson. Could Landon Dickerson fit in that car, though?
No,
I don't know if he could fit in
No, I couldn't fit in it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No. But at the end of the day, man, that would be one of the all-time greatest pictures ever.
That would be fantastic.
Ever.
Oh, man. All right, some more here from McMullen's piece in the Philly Voice about Minshew. He says, he was picked in the 6th round, an afterthought, number 178 overall. But to put it in perspective, the Eagles selected Clayton Thorson. Remember him? I think he went to Northwestern. I think he was Northwestern. 11 spots earlier that year at number 167 after the Chargers snapped up Wentz's preferred backup candidate, your boy, Easton Stick.
Wow.
Yes.
We just crushed it, man.
Wow.
I remember he couldn't play a lick. He couldn't play like one iota. He even looked bad in practice. Thorson looked bad in practice. It's hard to really look bad every day in practice. He looked bad every day in practice, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is crazy, man.
Nobody loves backup quarterbacks more than Philadelphia. I mean, we have a statue of one that ended up winning us a Super Bowl, and over the years, they're the most popular player on the team.
He drove a player crazy.
Yeah. Now, do you think Minshew ends up being the backup? Like, do they spin? Some people are thinking that he's going to spin Flacco off to a quarterback-starved team.
Well, see that we are the land of conspiracy theories because
of course,
it makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
To a team that really is in dire need of, because at this point, look at what's going down there in with the Texans. Right. They need a quarterback right now.
Now, Davis Mills had 3 interceptions in the last preseason game. He had looked pretty good prior to that, but he had a rough one this past weekend.
Real rough one, man. One for a touchdown.
Yeah. Now, how much preseason football did you take in this weekend? I'm going to tell you mine, but I want to hear yours first.
All of them.
What?
All of them.
Are you serious?
I watched
like live? Oh, replays.
I watched the ones that I could live. Like I watched 4 games live.
Well, you had to watch the Eagles live.
Yeah, I watched.
And we'll get into that.
One. But I watched the Texans.
Okay.
I watched 49ers, Seattle. Yeah, and the Eagles.
Jimmy G played a little bit in that game too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
49ers. Jimmy G, Patrick Mahomes saw some action and looked great. Josh Allen saw some action. Cam Newton, Tom Brady, TB12 in his mid-40s, played in the 3rd preseason game. Baker Mayfield, I saw played last night, drove him down the field in the first drive, and then they eventually fumbled the ball like around the 1-yard line.
Yep.
The tight end dropped the ball. Kirk Cousins played. Daniel Jones played significant time.
Watched that game.
And then I said Jimmy G. So a lot of starters seeing action in week 3.
So, I'm sitting there thinking, what are we doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
That's why if I give a grade for this Eagles coaching staff, I can't even put it incomplete. I got to put an NA there. You know what I'm saying? Because they've shown me nothing. I don't know who Nick Sirianni is as a play caller, because we didn't. I don't think he called any of the plays that he's going to call for.
No,
for Hurts.
It was as vanilla gets.
You can't. He can't even call it vanilla, man. I mean, I think if anything, you call it pistachio, a flavor that nobody really gets. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever buys pistachio ice cream. So at this point, you can't even say it's vanilla ice cream.
What about mustachioed ice cream?
There you go. But they haven't run anything from his skill set. I mean, because I know they're going to give a high dose of RPOs. They have to for Jalen Hurts to use his ability as a a multi-purpose athlete. They didn't run any misdirection plays, no counter plays. Well, I'll take that back. They did run a lot of tackle trap. They don't run guard trap. Usually you run with the guard. They run a lot of tackle traps. They pull both of their tackles. They like athletic tackles, man, and they pull them more so than they pull their guards, because they ran it a bunch in the game, and I mean they had some chunk yardage off of it also.
Well, aren't tackles typically? I mean, they're viewed as more athletic than guards typically, right?
Exactly, absolutely. Because I mean you're playing the game backwards. There's so many similarities between playing tackle and playing defensive back. Both guys play the game backwards. You got to get out there, make sure you get in your back pedal. You know what I'm saying? You got to be an athlete. And plus, you and Aaron Beasley said that on Friday, and I thought that was really interesting because I've never really even thought about it that way. But it's true. But it's true. You spend your whole time going backwards. Exactly. And then if you mess up, everybody sees it.
Because you're on the edge.
Everybody sees it.
Yep.
So, you turn around, you watch Dillard. Dillard showed me a lot, man. Dillard played well in this game, which pushed up his trading value, which because at this point, why would you keep him?
Well,
he just plays left tackle. That's all he plays is left tackle.
So he can't be a guy that they could move around or use as the swing tackle where he might have to come in for lane on the right side, or no.
He didn't take any reps. I didn't see him take any reps on the right side. None. Not to say that he can't, but I didn't see any of it. And when he did go over there, when they forced him to go over there, he was bitching and complaining and moaning and didn't do anything when he was over there. In fact, he almost got quarterback crushed when he was over there. So I can't say that he can play left tackle.
Now, was that part of the scouting report on him while he was at college, that he was pretty much a limited, to one side of the field, one position guy?
No, because he never played anything. So, I mean, as a coach, you always thinking, all right, well, I can switch both sides. They think it's just easy to just, all right, you play it over there and now go play over there. It's not really that easy.
Right.
Look, I started my first 3 years at left tackle for the Eagles. And then Big Trey came, and all that came to an end. Trey came in. I didn't even get asked.
Right.
I came out the locker room. And all right, well, go over to right, Brooksy.
Yeah, we took this kid first round out of Florida State, and you're going to have to move.
You see him? I said, yeah, I do see him. We all see him.
Right.
We all see it.
Right.
So he comes in, and I go to the right side. And I'm like, wow, my head was kind of screwed up for about 3 or 4 days, getting my body used to because when you're a left tackle, the dynamics of how you're strong at, where your strong points are. You're stronger on the inside to make sure nobody beat you on the inside. So you're stronger that way. When you go to the right side, it's the total opposite. Now your inside is your weak side, and your strong side is on the outside. So you got to change that whole dynamic in your head on how you set. Your feet work have to be totally different. You have to really, work on I became ambidextrous.
Right. That's the word I was actually thinking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had to.
Amphibious.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Charles Shackelford? Wasn't he the guy who said that back in the day? Yeah, I'm amphibious because he could shoot with his right and left hand. I don't know where my brain's going, man. I just think all this stupid stuff. Oh. All right. I was thinking of we'll talk about the preseason game too. We got a lot to get to here, but I was thinking about Gardner, the name Gardner. It's kind of a very unique name, right?
Yeah, it is. I
mean, I've only heard of. There was an old actor back in, I think, in the 50s named Gardner McKay. That's the only other time I've ever heard it used as a first name. Like, do you know any Gardners?
No, that's the first time ever. I didn't think you could have somebody that's their first name is a Gardner.
Right.
Like,
now, what is your Mount Rushmore of Gardners?
That's the only Gardner I know. Gardner,
Jim Gardner here in Philadelphia has to be number one.
Jim Gardner, I don't know who that is.
Oh my God, Channel 6 ABC News. He's been there for 40 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jim Gardner. You know, the guy with the mustache. He has a great mustache too. It's almost like if you have Gardner in your name, you got to have some sort of facial hair to really pull it off.
And he pulls it off still to this day. You know,
yes, he does. Yes, he
still pulls it off. He's supposed to retire here pretty soon too. I heard he's retired pretty soon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. These guys they just go forever.
You know what, man? Back in the day, I heard rumors of back in the day that when you were on air talent or you were radio show host, they used to make big money back in the day.
Oh yeah. Well, he still makes big money.
Right.
He still makes big money.
So, that's what I heard, man.
All right. What about Andre Gardner? Afternoons on MGK. Mr. Beatles. He's the Beatles expert. Rock and roll DJ here in Philly for a long time. Great dude. Andre Gardner. He's got to be number 3.
I don't know many Gardners. I hate to do it to myself.
Yeah. Now, how about this one? I just thought of this one. Gail Gardner. Remember her from ESPN back in
yes,
the
I do.
80s
I remember Gail.
The redhead.
Yep.
Big fan. I was a big fan. I don't know whatever happened to her.
He's a big fan, huh?
I was a big fan in the 80s.
All I remember is the red hair.
Yeah, a lot of really 80s red hair too.
Yeah, big. I mean,
big.
Yeah, I remember that. She used to be with I think Brian Gumble or.
Yeah, I think was it Greg Gumbel?
Greg Gumbel, yes.
Yeah, I think it was Greg Gumbel. Oh man. Yeah. All right.
She was on like ABC for a minute too, wasn't she?
Maybe. She was pretty good for ESPN. I got to say. All right, we're going to take a short time out. We'll be back with more. We're taking you right up to 1 o'clock. We'll get into some of the stuff that happened on Friday night because I actually did watch some of this preseason game. I'll go through that and get Barrett's thoughts on that. We still have a lot to hit. Jerry Jones is in the news. Trent Dilfer is in the news. A couple of injuries happened around the league that might have Howie's phone ringing and this whole Deshaun Watson stuff. So a lot to cover. Here on the middle with Barrett Brooks and Harry May.
One more thing, man.
What's that?
I might want to talk about that travesty of a fight when my guy from the crib, Woodley, is from St. Louis.
Oh,
got
last
his
night?
ass kicked. Yeah, he got his ass kicked.
Okay.
By our internet sensation.
We'll let you detail that because I didn't watch any of it. I knew it was going on, but I wasn't going to watch a second of that. All right, we'll be back with more. Barrett Brooks, Harry Mays on the middle.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
All right, we're back. JAKIB Media YouTube channel, Harry Mays, Barrett Brooks, Eytan, couple days off. I wonder what he does on his days off.
It's probably more work. You know, Eytan, he's a
yeah.
workaholic, man.
Right, he's not taking off from all of his gigs. I wouldn't imagine. So
Right.
he's still doing some work. But like during this time, when he's usually doing the show with us, like what does he do? Because he doesn't have the dog to walk anymore. Do you think he's just like fully in charge of the baby?
I think he would be. He seems
Yeah.
like, I mean, he usually has it this time anyways.
Mm.
He has the baby during this time. So yeah, he probably has him full time now during this time right now. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me ask you this now.
Teddy's got him going.
Right. Since you just said that, do you think he'd rather be doing the radio show?
as he's cleaning off some throw up off his shirt.
Exactly, because that's all great. You know, when you I'll take him. You're hanging out and he's you're burping and whatever, you're talking to him, he's talking to you, and then all of a sudden,
Right, everywhere.
Man, I want to go back on the radio.
Right. I hate to do it to you, Teddy, but
Exactly. All right, now the preseason game Friday night that we were so looking forward to, and I say that somewhat facetiously. I did not watch it live. I DVR'd it, Barrett. Like, to me, preseason games are for the DVR because I don't want to hear any stuff prior. I don't want to see any commercials. I don't want to hear any halftime nonsense. Just give me the game, and then I can duck out whenever I want and delete it. So I watched the entire first half.
right.
Okay, it was by zipping through. Made a couple of notes. I took some notes on my phone about the pre. Yep.
Okay,
I mean, both you and Robbie E would be proud of me. Okay. I'm doing this all Saturday. And then, as I read how the game ended, I'm like, well, I got to watch that. So I had to zip all the way through to the end of the game to watch the final 2 or 3 minutes, which was absolute mayhem.
It was, man. It was. It was. Man, you got and you know what's the bad part about it?
Yeah.
Coach Salih, he didn't even want a solid. He didn't even want to really end the game on a tie. That's why he went for 2, you know what I'm saying, and didn't get it. And then he turns around, they end up tying them anyways.
Right.
That's how bad it was, man. He didn't even want.
All right.
He was either gonna win it or he was just gonna lose it.
Well, let me ask you this though. Like, we make too much, both positive and negative, of preseason. We're all guilty of it. Okay.
Yep.
But do you think that in some weird way, ending the preseason on an up note, like the Jets did in coming back and tying that game and in that fashion that they did it, Yeboah, the kid who caught the touchdown in the end zone, he was a Temple guy.
Yep.
That ended up transferring to Ole Miss for his final season. He was sort of like a Gardner Minshew guy, I think. He graduated and then moved on to Ole Miss in hopes of getting, his stock raised. He caught that touchdown, and then they go for it on 2, and he ran the ball. Like, it's almost like Saleh was like, yeah, let's just run it here. If we don't get in, it's no big deal. And they got in.
Exactly.
And Scott Graham, I got to call him out. That was an awful call at the end of that game.
Very bad.
First of all, he said they didn't get in, and he kept saying that they didn't get in when they did get in.
It was apparent that they did. His legs were in the air.
Come on, man. Nothing touched the ground until the ball broke the plane. You could pretty easily see it.
Well, Scott had a tough one this last game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I like Scott. I've worked with Scott before.
So do I.
But this game, it was a little, but you could kind of tell the disinterest, because they told more stories about Philly and guys in Philly than anybody. And you talk about a broadcast that was one-sided.
Oh yeah, well, that's the way they are in the preseason. Like, they got to be one-sided. But when you see a touchdown, you can't just sit there and say no, he didn't get in. I mean, come on.
That's worse than having a call that on a rest call or on a late hit or something like that. You can see it's obvious, and you're going against the obviousness of what went on. You know what I'm saying? It was obvious that he got in. There was no question in my mind. I'm like, why are you even spending time doing this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was still saying no, he didn't get in.
And they threw it down to Spadaro quite a bit, interviewing players, all the guys that weren't playing. I mean,
which was half the team.
It was half the team, is right. All right, here's my notes, okay? Boston Scott got my attention, juking for that 49-yard touchdown. The move he put on that defensive back was pretty good.
I don't know, what do you call that, a dead leg or something?
I don't know, man.
Unbelievable. So they had a correspondence. He and Sproles had a correspondence, and he had texted him or he had put on social media, oh man, that was a great move or whatever. That's what Sproles said. And he said, hey, I was learning from you, old fella. Take notes on you. You know what I mean? I mean, that interaction was perfect.
Yeah,
that's exactly what Sproles was as a player.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you're the size of a Boston Scott, like, that's one of the guys. I mean, he was one of the greats, man. Sproles for a long time. You would idolize him. He's similar to you in size and stature. Probably was overlooked like you were by many schools.
Yep. Exactly. So I mean, that move right there just kind of put him on the team. I mean, I knew he was going to make the team, but that just cemented him not just being on the team, but taking some reps from somebody. He's going to have to take some reps from somebody, man. And if you look at it, that whole running back room is different because, Miles Sanders had a problem with catching the ball the last year and in camp. And you've seen, both guys, both of his backups have been very good at catching the rock. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So, one of them that played a lot last night, or Friday night, excuse me, with Gainwell. That practically that whole drive where they ended up scoring was him. I mean, he was involved in practically every play.
KG balled, man. And you know what? Seth made a point to make sure that, everybody understands, yes, this is the preseason. Yes, his size, he could be elusive and everything. But as a defensive coordinator, they get paid millions of dollars to game plan guys like that. So if you go out of 21 personnel, which is 2 running backs and one tight end.
Yeah.
And, if you don't put him out on as a receiver, as a slot or out wide, what they would do, they would game plan and make sure they blitz his side to make him stay in as a pass blocker, so he couldn't get out. You know what I mean? And I said, that's I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
That's you have to do that.
Let's
and they will
occupy
game plan
him.
that. Yeah.
Right.
So we can keep him in and probably make it a better pass rush, because now you're going against a guy that's, you're probably 15, 20 pounds heavier than, and running over him to get to the quarterback, because at this point his pass blocking is not where it needs to be. We know this,
right?
Even if it was, the laws of physics just aren't in his favor, because he's smaller than these guys, so they can game plan him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really want to see how this coach is going to adjust all the adjustments that get adjusted to him.
All right, a couple things on the stream. 91 LSXers. Now, Barrett, you might have to confirm this for me. It says, Harry, did you see Friday's pregame where they were saying the second round reach for Hurts has a higher upside than the second overall pick, Zach Wilson? Is that true? Did somebody say that?
In so many ways, they did say that. Yes.
They did?
Yeah, so many ways they did say that. I hate to do it to them. They made the comparison. Yes. They made the comparison because, like, if he plays better, that means they got more value, more bang for the buck, instead of being the second overall pick in Wilson. And I'm thinking to myself, I hate to do it.
Yeah, come on. We just have to stop.
Right.
Stop. Seriously. All right, now respect the stash. This might be a new streamer in honor of Gardner Minshew being in town. Respect the stash asks, does Gainwell take Sanders' spot next year?
No,
They're not the same kind of back.
no. Then he may take a couple reps from him on third down.
Right.
But as far as, I mean, he is talented, man. We haven't seen even or scratched the surface of how talented Miles Sanders is. Some of the stuff that I see, like in practice, the explosiveness he has, the way he reads stuff. I mean, he's a next level type of back. If he get his hands together, there's a reason why he's they're not saying anything about anybody else but him being a starter. They're not even entertaining anything but him being a starter. If he is out on the field, somebody's on the field with him instead of him being off the field. Put it like that.
Okay.
He is talented, man. Very, very talented. But at this point, I mean, who do you think of the quarterback? I mean, who do you think the running backs are going to be on this team? This is something that we probably need to talk about, especially with the 53-man roster being cut down tomorrow. If you were them, what backs would you keep?
Well, Scott, Sanders,
Yep.
Gainwell.
Yep.
Do you keep Howard?
I think Howard's the pass blocker. He showed that one hit,
right?
Made him a pass blocker.
Oh,
After
against
that,
Pittsburgh. That was against Pittsburgh in his preseason. Yeah.
Lit him up.
Your boy Holyfield already got released.
I know. That's to me, and he'll get picked up. He had a good enough camp that he will get picked up, man. But
it's probably those four. There's no more, right?
Well, Jason Huntley, who's a great kickoff returner. He's a great kickoff returner. So at this point, do they keep him? As a specialist, that's 5 backs.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the wide receiver position, who they're going to keep. Do they keep Greg Ward?
Fulgham did not have a good night.
No.
Getting stripped near the goal line there. That is something that those coaches will never forget that.
No, I mean he can't forget it.
Right.
He may have just lost. He lost his whole stake on being a game winning type of wide receiver.
Right.
We thought he was the next coming.
Right.
We lost all that.
Right. That's why we can't jump to conclusions early in the season on anybody. But
I mean,
he went from being a possible starter to now possibly not making a team.
I don't think he makes the team now.
What about J-Jaw? Caught a big touchdown the other night.
Is that enough?
That was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
It was or was it somebody else wearing number 19?
And it was 2 pass plays in a row.
Yeah.
That was his drive. Do we keep him? Is that enough? Those 2 passes, is that enough for him to be on this
against
roster?
Backups?
Right.
Right.
He's been playing against backups the entire year.
Yeah.
The entire offseason. I can't see that being enough to keep him on the squad over Greg Ward. Now, Greg Ward dropped the pass too.
Yep.
But we know what he is as a player. But is he just, I think this head coach wants guys that can go out there and play all the positions, the Z, the X, and the Y. And if you look at it, what guys can do that? We know Quez Watkins can do that. He can play in the slot.
Yeah. He's
both outside guys. Devontae Smith can play in the slot and all the other positions. John Hightower.
I don't know.
He hasn't done enough.
I don't know.
JJ Whiteside, they've been trying to put him in the slot. They play him a lot in the slot and on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Reagor, he can play in the slot. He can play anywhere. But Greg Ward, is he just a slot player? And that's what you're thinking about when you're talking about if you're going to give a guy a roster spot.
So you think who would you say the starters would be? Smith, Reagor, and Ward, or Smith, Reagor, and Watkins?
Watkins.
Okay.
Smith, Reagor, and Watkins will be the starters.
And who's in the slot there?
Devontae's in the slot.
Devontae's in the slot. Okay. Yep. Who's and on the left side?
Watkins.
Okay. And then Reagor on the right. Okay.
Yep. But then you also look at this though. When you look at this, this receiving core, who plays special teams? Greg Ward is a returner.
Mm-hmm.
But JJ Arcega-Whiteside, they use him as a gunner. Use him on punt team.
Yeah.
They use him on kickoff return, kickoff.
They give him as many opportunities to add something to the roster because they got to justify taking him in the second round.
Exhausting every option. I mean, they put him in the slot. He's not even a slot guy, but they was put him in the slot.
Yeah.
Who else plays special teams to that level?
Did Fulgham?
No. Didn't play any special teams.
Then that's not good.
I hate to do it to you.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt he gets released.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think so, but
somebody else might pick him up,
but does Greg Ward, does he make the team? So we already have, let me see, we pencil as starters. We got the 3 starters, Rager, Smith, and Watkins. After that, is there anybody that really turns your head enough to keep them out here?
No, they're just like, you could throw them all in a basket. They're all like kind of similar, like okay. They're at best, average at best. So do they go get a veteran wide receiver?
They might have to. They might have to.
I mean, they've been talking about that a lot. There's been a lot of talk about them making some sort of a move or just waiting till other guys get released. Because I saw somebody got released this morning, wide out. Let me find it. Was it Benjamin? No, not him. I'll find it. But there was somebody got released.
Is Andre Patton still on the squad? And by far, that's the ugliest wide receiver number I've ever seen in my life. 41. Come on.
Yeah, well, number 14 for Gainwell looks stupid too.
Yeah, it does.
That really looks dumb. I mean, I'm all for changing these numbers and letting guys wear single digits and all that kind of stuff. But some numbers just shouldn't go with certain positions.
Right. And
I don't know.
41 is definitely one that shouldn't. And 14 for a running back.
Perriman got released. John Shelton on the stream. He's correct.
Oh,
Rashad Perriman. He just got released. So, I mean, there's going to be guys like this that it's going to happen over these next couple of hours and, tomorrow. So maybe there's a guy that they like as a veteran presence that they could bring in here.
Right.
And,
that's right. I don't see anybody else really giving it to me, that I feel as though could come out and be consistent. I need consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ, I think, Whiteside, it's like he fades off the screen. You don't even know he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't command the quarterback to look in his direction. Greg Ward does.
Right.
Greg Ward creates separation. He makes it, enticing for a quarterback to throw to him because he creates separation. You're right. Respect to the stash. You're right, man. Now, as far as Perriman, I would keep JJ over Perriman. He's the biggest bust ever. He was fast as all outdoors, but couldn't catch a cold.
He started with Baltimore.
Yep.
And then lasted 2 years there. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think it was like West Virginia or something like that. And he's been a bust ever since day one. It wasn't really injuries that make him a bust. He just, he's just one of those guys just fades into the screen, fades on the field. He doesn't make himself appetizing for a quarterback to get the ball to. And that's bad, man. It's hard to really keep a guy around. You see all this athletic, like when you look at JJ, he looks like a specimen, bro.
Right.
I mean, he looks like the real deal. He's a big receiver too, man. He's huge. Yeah.
Where'd you say Perriman went? He went to UCF, I think.
With UCF? Oh, that's right. He did go to UCF.
Central Florida, yeah.
He did go to UCF.
He had, his biggest year was 2019 with Tampa, where he had 36 catches, 645 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Still nothing mind-blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
first round
with Baltimore, his best year was his rookie year, 33 catches, 3 touchdowns. And then he got hurt because he only played 11 games the next year.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't know that he's really you get cut by the Lions in preseason. How good can you be?
Right.
Seriously. I know that's one of your former homes and all, but man, you're a wide receiver. That offense stinks. If they think you're not good enough, I don't know if I'm reaching out.
Oh, and also, you look at the fact that they let both of their top tier receivers go, and you don't even have to compete against the two big name receivers.
Right.
They let one go to Galladay go, and the other kid went to Jacksonville. So there's really nobody there as a stud, and you still get released? Come on.
Yeah, let's look at what they have to see what. Okay, Khalif Raymond,
right.
Victor Bolden Jr.
No.
Yell at me when you've heard any of these guys.
Right.
Damian Ratley. I've heard of him.
I haven't.
St. Brown.
Wasn't he with Green Bay?
He was a 4th-round draft pick.
Uh-huh.
Is he a Notre Dame kid?
USC. He went to USC.
He did?
Yeah, he went to USC.
Okay. Amon race. There's another St. Brown a couple years ago that went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's in Green Bay.
Okay. Yeah. I think his first name is like Aquanimius or something. He's got some really crazy name. All right, Quintez.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's his name. Amon-Ra for Detroit.
Detroit. Okay. Yeah. Quintez Cephas, not Bo Cephas. And Tyrell Williams.
I heard Tyrell Williams.
He was with San Diego and then the Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah. He's pretty athletic, that guy, 6'4". Yeah.
Big kid too. Yep.
Right. But that's not a stalwart group.
No, it's not like competing against Megatron or anybody out there. There's a bunch of guys out there,
right.
And it showed in their performance. There are a bunch of guys.
Yeah. Who has looked the worst that you've seen in preseason, like as a group?
The worst team right now that I've seen. When I look at the Eagles, they're probably the Eagles and Jets probably the 2 worst teams that I've seen thus far.
Really?
Yeah. Jacksonville's not much better.
Although Lawrence had a good game this weekend. He looked good.
Yeah. The Texans, their defense looks good, but offensively, they're going to run the ball. I mean, bottom line, they're going to run the ball. So at this point, I have to say the worst team that I've seen in the preseason are the Eagles.
Really?
I hate to say it. Yeah, man. Yeah,
wow.
they're bad, bro. It's because they haven't showed me their 3rd and 4th team. That I just can't get that New England game out of my head yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that was embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
That was embarrassing.
I mean, to get blanked by that team, come on now.
Yeah. Apparently, Howie Roseman is fielding calls on the offensive line and the linebackers, like on his offensive line and linebackers. That was Bleeding Green Nation put that out.
Well, I can understand it from an offensive line standpoint. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I don't think Opeta makes the
team. He was terrible Friday night.
Oh, he was terrible Friday night. He was terrible last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
The Thursday before that, he was terrible. He's been terrible every time he's given an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
I don't know why they love this kid so much.
Yeah, he was awful. In fact, Ross Tucker was kind of giving him the business, and that's a former offensive lineman, but he's just telling you what he sees. I mean, he's calling it like he sees it. Yeah.
He said, I hate to talk ill will about offensive linemen,
right?
But you got to at least be able to pick up a stunt or a block. What's going on here?
Yeah, and he would get just overpowered too.
And that's the problem. It's not necessarily a guy doing a good move or something like that. But they're straight bull rushing him and driving him into the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Run plays, he gets no movement. He looked bad. He looked really, really bad this last game. Herbig looked okay. He finally came back and played a lot better.
What about Driscoll? He got the start at the right side, I think, didn't he?
Balled out. He balled out.
Yeah.
Diller balled out. LaRaven Clark, woo! He put some work in, bro. He put some work in. He showed that he should be on somebody's team. He balled when they gave him an opportunity. He was making it happen. He's like, all right, look at me. He's out there in space, crushing people on screenplays. You got to make yourself. You got to make a difference. You got to make yourself look good. You got to give them something to look at. You know what I'm saying? You got to pop off the screen, especially when you're playing. Like I love playing in the preseason. Like my old, when I was getting older, like when I was my 8th and 9th year, 10th year in the league, when, all right, I'm a backup. So since I'm a backup, I'm going to play against 3s and 4s at times or 2s and 3s at times.
Yeah, you got to make hay against those guys.
Yeah, I was a starter, so I was used to play against guys like, the Charles Haley's and Mr. White's, and I played against Chris Dolman. I played against ballers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Simeon Rice. I played against guys that really were pass rushers. So when I'm playing against a guy that's just a guy, I'm looking like an all-star out there. I mean,
Right.
I'm stunning them on the line. They're not going anywhere. I'm throwing them down.
You're
I'm looking like
pancaking them.
I'm looking like an all-star. I used to, no lie, this is the honest to goodness truth. Sometimes I'll be running to the sideline after I just got through demolishing this third or fourth teamer, and I'll run by as I'm running by the head coach, you know, he'll look at me like this. Coward, be like, Brooksy. Don't try it. Don't try it. Say, Coach, I'm dominating him. Look who it is, Brooksy.
Yeah,
Brooksy, he shouldn't even. He told me one time, Brooksy, he shouldn't even have a name tag on the back of his helmet, back of his jersey.
Wow.
I'm like,
you ran past him like Kirk Cousins. You like that?
I'm killing him. He's like this.
Right.
Brooks, he doesn't even deserve to have a name tag on the back of his
He's going to be
jersey.
working at UPS next week. What are you talking about?
Hey, Coach, I can't help who they put in front of me. Whoever they put in front of me, hey, I'm just gonna give it to him. I'm just letting you know. That's what happened to me and Sean Bradley. You know that?
Right.
We're playing my last preseason game against the Eagles. When I was there, I hit Sean Bradley, drove him down, threw him on the ground. You know what I'm saying? All the two of the starters weren't playing, so I was in there with the starters, and I'm going against Sean Bradley, and I'm killing him. I pancaked him like twice. And the second time I got up from him, he told me like this, "Who are you? Are you even going to make this team? Who are you?"
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he
Really
said to me. Yeah. So what's his name? Hollis comes over. Hey, man, watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth. He's been playing a lot longer than you. Watch your mouth.
Oh, wow. Now, do you think, speaking of Sean Bradley, you think your favorite Sean Bradley on the defense makes the squad?
I think he does.
Okay.
I think he does. I think he makes the squad. I don't see how Jacoby Stevens makes it as a linebacker, man. You know, even though he's a 6th-round pick this year, I don't know if he makes it. TJ Edwards, he'll make it.
Taylor, TJ Edwards,
he'll make it.
They're safe.
Yeah, they're safe.
Yeah.
But Patrick Johnson, I mean, they might have to try to see if they can move him to the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really do enough for me to see that he makes the squad.
Yeah, well, apparently they like their depth at linebacker so much that they're taking calls on him.
I don't know about that, but whatever.
Now we got to talk about another injury when we get back, starting hour number 2 here on the middle. There was a big injury in Minnesota at a very important, intriguing position that might interest one Howie Roseman. All right, we're going to take a short time out. We'll be back with hour number 2. Still a whole lot more to get to. We got this Deshaun Watson stuff, Jerry Jones, Trent Dilfer, and a whole lot more. Harry Mays, Barrett Brooks, right here on the middle.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Hour number 2 of the middle. Barrett Brooks, Harry Mays here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. And remember to smash that like button. I got to see how we're doing here today, Barrett.
I don't even know how to do that, man.
You don't even know how to do it?
No.
Now, can you subscribe? Can you log into YouTube? Like, do you have an account where you can, like, officially log in and with a profile, and then you can pull up the show, and then you can like it?
All right, let me go ahead and see. Let me go ahead and do it.
The JAKIB Media YouTube channel, JAKIB. So far, we got subscribers are up to 6,580. So we should be at 7,000 here pretty soon. And I think it was going to go up very quickly once the football season actually gets started.
No question.
Because people right now, it's hard to get invested in preseason. I get it. We get all excited because guys go to camp and then, counting down the days to the first preseason game. And then you realize that nobody's playing. And you're just like, all right, when's the regular season really start? So like, this is like that downtime. The final 2 weeks, people getting their final bit of vacations in, down at the shore and so forth.
Yep.
And then we, settle in next weekend for college. Actually, starting Thursday night, I believe. Temple plays Thursday night. Ohio State plays Thursday night. They play Minnesota, Big Ten game. That starts off the weekend, and next week's got a lot of really good games in it. Yeah, Temple Rutgers is 3 days away. Eagles Falcons, we're still 13 days away, and 10 days until Cowboys Buccaneers. So this is sort of like that final little piece of downtime. But I mentioned before we went to break, there's an injury out in Minnesota. Saw this morning. Irv Smith from Alabama.
Oh.
Now, he's been in the league 2-3 years now. Pretty talented tight end. Tore his meniscus. Now, I don't know how the severity of it. Like, they don't know if it's a full tear or if it's something that they could just go in and clean up and he'd be back sooner than later. Nobody really knows yet. But he's going to miss the start of the season and maybe some significant time. So Howie Roseman has made some deals with Minnesota, right?
Yo, he got him. He got him.
Zach Ertz could go to Minnesota.
Well, I mean, that would be the best thing since sliced bread, but I don't think they can afford to right now. With Tyree being hurt, Tyree Jackson being hurt. And can Jake Stoll be the? I mean, he had a great camp. Every time he's been in the game, he's had an opportunity to make a play. He's made a play. He has a couple of drops, but you like him a lot. He does his ability to get open. He's that guy. He's a pass catching, new wave tight end. At this point, you got Ertz, Goddard, and Rodgers. Stoll and Jackson. So
yeah, Jackson's hurt.
Jackson's hurt.
But he could come back at some point later in the year.
Yes, he can.
But he's a rookie learning a new position. So, this year might be a total wash for him.
Well, you know what, man?
In reality.
He is not Tebow-esque. He is a bona fide tight end now. I don't see him as a quarterback anymore.
Oh no, I don't think he's a quarterback anymore. But I'm just saying, like, learning the position and looking good in practice,
right?
And looking good in some early preseason games is way different than when there's game planning going on. And
I can't wait. This weekend, on Friday, I have the South Dakota at Kansas game, and it just so happens that his head coach Leopold is now the
head coach. He's the head coach at Kansas.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask him a couple questions about his former quarterback.
Right.
But you look at Stoll. I think Stoll can be serviceable. He plays on the special teams, and that's big for him. So I think that that's something that they're gonna entertain. If they can get some value for Ertz, I see them entertaining that. I mean, the only thing is they just let Kyle Rudolph go. He went to the Giants,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll basically be replacing him with the same guy. You know, him and Rudolph, Ertz and Rudolph are the same guy
Mm-hmm.
as far as, you know, the money aspect of it. And I think they let him go because of the money. But I think Ertz is a better pass catcher than and route runner than Rudolph was.
Right.
But, you know, I think Ertz still has some value here. I would like Ertz to stay here in all actuality.
You
He
would
help his offense. Yeah, he would help this offense tremendously. And he hasn't been bitching and complaining. He's been going about his business,
doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there was another injury.
5 tight ends?
Yeah, I don't know.
You
man.
can't.
We're talking about 5 tight ends, 5 running backs. I mean, you can't keep all these guys.
No, so you can only go into the season really with 3.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, the 3 that I see making a team are Ertz, Goddard, and Rodgers.
Or Goddard, Rodgers, and Stoll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With Stoll primarily playing like special teams kind of role.
Yes.
They would really put a lot more onus on Richard Rodgers.
Yeah, but also it would make the team more of a 11 personnel team, 1 running back, 1 tight end, which they want to do anyway because they want more speed on the field.
Right.
This is not like, you know, with Ertz and Goddard last year or the year before that and the year before that being 12 personnel being their best personnel package. I think their best personnel package is having 1 tight end on the field and all those receivers or 2 running backs and all those receivers, you know, on the field, you know, because then you're explosive. You have all speed out there. We know speed kills. Look at Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll probably be your most optimal personnel grouping is Goddard on the field with both running backs or you know, all the wide receivers on the field.
All right,
so
now
get away with it.
There was another injury over the weekend I saw out in Indianapolis, another team that Howie Roseman has dealt with. Sam Tevy tore his ACL. He's left tackle.
Yes.
And Fisher, who they got in the offseason, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, is still hurt. So they're down to like a third string type of guy at a pretty serious position with an injury-riddled quarterback hoping to come back for week 1 in Carson Wentz.
Let's do the deal.
Does Andre Dillard interest the Indianapolis Colts?
And the way he played, let's do the deal. I can see it happening.
Yeah, because I mean, Howie's got a double win here. Like he could help Indianapolis shore up or attempt to shore. We're not saying Dillard's great, okay, but he's probably better than their third stringer, I would hope.
There's no
right?
question he is.
Right. So and
No
he would provide depth once Fisher came back, at least at one position. You're saying he's limited to one side of the field, so maybe that could be a problem. But Howie's thinking like, you know, I really need to get this second round pick converted to a first round pick with Carson. So he needs to play. So I want to get him the left tackle that can help protect him. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely, man.
Right.
Let's get him out there, man. Let's get him out there. Let's get him out there. Do the deal, Howie.
Now, what do you think what would some team give up for an Andre Dillard based on all the criticism that we have given him over the last year?
It doesn't matter what we give him. It doesn't matter the optics that we have here in Philadelphia in our fishbowl. You know, we have our own fishbowl here. But it's hard. It's hard to find offensive linemen, especially quality offensive linemen in the league. Fair point blank.
Is he quality though? I mean, you know, if he was drafted in the 6th round, you'd probably be saying, "Man, this guy looks pretty good. We can keep him." You know, but he's it's such a focal point drafting somebody that high up who is disappointed that you're like, man, I want to get rid of him.
Well, see, that's the problem right there. If he would have been drafted in even the 2nd round or the 3rd round, we have a whole different mindset on how we're judging him. We're judging him off of being a top pick,
right?
A number 1 draft pick. That's what Dillard is.
Right.
So because of that, he's going to get a lot of these harsh reviews because he hasn't done anything to make himself look any better than what, you know, than our 4th or 5th round pick. He's definitely a guy that there's a lot of value in him, and other teams around the league see the value in him. Howie sees the value in him. He knows he can get a top pick at least nothing less than a 3rd rounder for him.
Because you know who's the who would be then maybe second string left tackle? Your boy Toth.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, or Driscoll. Driscoll can play both sides.
Yeah. They have Driscoll listed on the right side for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Behind Lane.
He would be the guy that would go in before any other tackle. Driscoll will. Toth will be the next guard in, I think, or Herbig will be the next guard. But yes, I can see him being a guy that can play both sides, and he's the sixth man at this point. Driscoll's the sixth man as far as the tackle situation. So I can see them doing the deal with Andre Dillard, and you know what would make it so bad? Dillard would leave here and go there and be a great player for him. A great player for him.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Oh,
now we don't want him to be great, though, do we? Because it's like, why didn't he develop here? I mean, because the offensive line coach is one of the most respected coaches, probably the most respected coach on our staff.
And that's why because he knows what he needs to do. He just knows he can't beat out a 6'8", 380-pound phenom that moves like he's freaking 250 pounds. So that's why he's so busy looking over his shoulder that he can't focus on what he's supposed to be doing. Right. He goes there, gets a new mindset, and he can go in there and dominate as a tackle. They're going to throw the ball. He'll be a great guy going out there and being that left tackle while they're throwing the ball. I'm looking at it right now. I can see him in a Colts uniform. Let's do the deal, Howie. Let's do the deal.
All right. I like that too. Now, I'm trying to get see if Xander can help us with the video portion of this Trent Dilfer story. Trent Dilfer is, of course, the head coach at Lipscomb Academy, which is one of these big football programs down in Nashville, Tennessee. And he gets some pretty big-time players.
Right.
He's supposed to be, doing a really good job. And I saw over the weekend they had a game, and he got into it pretty heavy with one of his players. I believe the kid's a tight end, Bo Dawson, who ends up being the son of Phil Dawson. You remember Phil Dawson?
Yes.
He was the kicker for the Browns.
Yes, for a long time.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And apparently Phil Dawson is also on the coaching staff of Trent Dilfer.
He was there when I was
Academy.
There.
Dawson was in Cleveland when you were there.
Yeah, when I was there, yeah.
Was Dilfer too?
No.
Because he was in Cleveland for a little bit,
too.
He
was with the Ravens then.
All right. Okay.
Then.
Yeah.
But yeah, also Phil is a coach there.
Phil is a coach there too. He's a special teams coach.
That's exactly
this is really
a
wacky situation. Now, if you watch the video, and I sent Xander a text and also tried to get him on the private chat, the video is pretty intense. Like, this is like almost like Singletary. Remember when Singletary sent off the tight end and made him leave the field?
He saved his life.
Yeah. What was that guy's name?
Davis.
Yes. He ended up playing with the Washington football team for his final couple seasons.
Yeah, and killed us. He was from Maryland.
Right. He went to Maryland.
He ran like a 4.3 at the combine.
Yeah. He was an Adonis too.
Yeah, freakish athlete. And he was just so coddled as a player that he couldn't take, the thrashing. But he actually, I'm telling you, Mike Singletary saved his life, because from that point on, he strapped his helmet up and played like a player from that point on. That was the most famous rant I've ever heard in my life. Can't win with him. Can't do it.
Right. Yeah, that was in the post game afterwards. Yeah.
Before
Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis.
Yeah.
Before I let this guy come out there and be selfish and play like that, I will take a penalty.
That was the one
amazing.
I want winners came from.
Yes, I want winners.
Classic.
Can't do it.
We need more of that stuff.
Oh, no question, man.
But
this Trent Dilfer stuff was great too. He said, "Sit down."
Yeah.
Sit down.
I know.
Sit down.
And the kid apparently was giving him some back talk.
Right.
Right. I mean, I liked what Dilfer's trying to do, but this day and age, when everybody's got a cell phone and is recording this kind of stuff, this is not going to work out well for Trent Dilfer. Here's the video. He's on the sideline. I guess the kid screwed up in the game and he comes off and Here we go.
Trent Dilfer doesn't like when his players talk back. Trent Dilfer doesn't.
That's it. It just keeps
Love
repeating. Now, yeah.
Love it.
I mean, they were saying physical altercation. He's taking him by the front of the shoulder pads and just like pushing him back. He didn't hit him in the face.
No. You should have saw me last week.
Yeah,
with my offensive line.
Right. You do this.
Yeah, I'm coaching down. I'm like helping out with the team at Woodrow Wilson High School.
Woodrow Wilson. Yeah.
Camden School. You know, these are some tough kids. They have a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, their family situations at home, you know, sometimes the only release they can get is at the practice field. You know, a lot of these kids are in a position where things aren't cool once they leave the football field, once they leave the practice facility, leave that school.
Right.
Things aren't cool at all.
Right.
So I understand these things and understand how to deal with them. But it took me a while to really understand the dynamics of what these kids are going through, how their situation is, and how I need to adjust what I do and say to these kids. You know, it's not like when they were with me, you know, like Coach Schneider coming and getting me off a bus.
Right.
You know, get your ass out of here. Let's go.
Now, Coach Schneider probably talked to a lot of your players and your teammates like that, right?
Yeah, all the time, you know, because we had a different mentality back then, because if a coach is yelling at you, that means he cares. When he's quiet and doesn't say anything to you, that's when you get worried. And for the most part, if you look at coaches only want to bring out the best in you and who you are as a man. You know what I'm saying? Not just as a player, but who you are as a man. And they understand what the dynamics are on where you need to go. So to me, I have your best interest at hand. It has nothing to do with me or my ego or anything else.
Right.
It has everything to do with, all right, I'm trying to prepare you for the future. I'm trying to prepare you not just in football, but when you're in this job and your CEO comes in and chews you out, that you don't make the bad response of talking back or doing something other than, all right, then learning from the situation.
Yeah.
You know, just learn from the situation.
You can't chew anybody out anymore, Barrett.
No, it's horrible,
you know?
man. Because if Dawson wasn't a coach on the team, then I would say he'd be dead wrong for that. But since the coach is there and it's his father, I see why he conducted himself in that manner.
All right. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think he coaches this kid differently, knowing that Phil Dawson is okay with it? So he's going to sort of maybe be a little bit tougher on this kid in this instance.
Absolutely.
You know, to sort of set an example. All the other teammates are like, wow, did you see Coach? Man, you know, he dug into Bo, you know, pretty good, man. But it's like he knows he can get away with it because Phil Dawson's okay with it, the father.
Exactly. And that's exactly like, if I know the parents of the kid I'm talking to, I know them, and the parents know that I want only the best for that kid, then I'm gonna coach that kid different than a kid that I don't know the parents. I'm gonna coach him different because I know the limits that I can go with you know, because these days you have to coach these kids individually. It used to be that it was just a blank canvas, you know, everybody was under the same umbrella.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want to say. Because my coaches cussed me out up the stairs and down the stairs, you know, as I'm doing these 8 and 8s and running and everything else. They're steady cussing me out because they knew that at the end of the day, they wanted me to be a better player.
Okay.
I didn't understand it at the time, but I just knew I had to go about this, you know, in order for me to be successful. And it helped me in who I am as a man, because they showed me that you can't just talk back and all that stuff. Well, these kids are like that. With this, I think Dawson, he knew that was Dawson's kid, so he's going to coach him harder because his dad is right there, and to know his dad would do the same thing to his kid.
They ended up having to release a statement, of course, you know, afterwards.
Of course, all the time, yeah.
Yeah. You know,
hurt feelings.
This whole thing became, you know, a firestorm on social media. It went viral, the old viral video.
Right.
But, I mean, do you think anything happens to him?
No, I don't think so, because, I mean, the dad is right there.
Yeah.
The dad is right down. I've had look, another situation, another perfect situation I'm talking about. There was this kid. He would go home every single weekend. I mean, every single week. Oh, they didn't play me again. I'm a baller. They don't know what they're doing. I'm 10 times better than the guy they have in front of me.
Right.
That
goes on. It goes on at every high school, at every level, at every sport.
So this is what happened. One of the other coaches there said, "All right, then, since you're thinking your kid is so good." Coach Tim came over and Sean was like, "Hey, all right then. So this is what I'm gonna do, ma'am. Since your kid, ma'am, can you come here for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna put him in at the position he said he's better than the other guy in. So he tells the other kid to come off, who's an All-American. I mean, he's a linebacker, he's like 6'3", 220 pounds. You know, we tell him come off the field. All right, we're gonna put your son out there.
Mm-hmm.
Your son that's only 5'10", weighs 190 pounds soaking wet. We're going to put him in at the Mike linebacker position." And then we went through 9-on-7. By the time that fullback came around and knocked him on the ground 3 plays in a row, an offensive lineman picked him up and dumped him on his head 10 yards down the field. I said, you see that?
Yeah.
So you thinking I'm trying to be hard on your son and then
right.
that he's not? No, he's not.
You're
ready
protecting him.
Right. I'm protecting your son
right.
from getting his butt kicked every other play.
Right.
And look at him. Man, they were so embarrassed. They They took the kid and went home. They took him and went home. I had to go to practice and get him. I had to go to his house and get him the next day for practice because they didn't want him to play anymore because they were so embarrassed that he was saying all that stuff and it wasn't true.
So is he still on the team?
Yeah, he's still on the team.
Now what will his position be? Like 4th string? He'll never see the light of day.
4th string bench.
Yeah.
I mean, he serves a hell of a glass of water. Put it like that.
There you go.
But some guys just aren't meant to play, man.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean,
just,
Mother Nature, God, kind of dictates. You're only 5'10", 145, son. You're not made to play this game at this level. I realized soon enough I wasn't going to get any bigger, so I became a runner. I'm like, I'm not going to be a football player. My God.
Oh, look, my boy T for Tuna, the MFC. I can't tell you what MF stands for, but the C stands for captain.
Oh yeah,
that's man. My boat's right next to his boat, man. I miss my boat too.
T for Tuna on the stream you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I see that,
bro. I need to go fishing so bad, man. But hey, this is the season right here. This is the season.
Buddy of mine, I was playing golf with a couple of college buddies yesterday, and we all went in the same fraternity. And this other guy that lives nearby just got back from deep sea fishing. He took his boat out off of Avalon Stone Harbor and came home with all this mahi,
oh my goodness,
a boatload of it. And he's showing the pictures, the fish and stuff. So they're grilling it all up, Sunday night and probably today.
Oh
yeah,
girl, mahi is so good. So what we do, we go out to the little dinghies, these floats, and we just drive around the dinghies. And those fish, they love to have, hang around dinghies because, the small fish try to hide in between. So if you found like a weed patch or something in the water, you just throw your line out there. You might catch you a couple mahi. See, that's the best thing about having the dock, because we're down to Schooner Island, Schooner Island Marina. The best thing about my dock, everybody goes fishing all the time. I can go down there right now. And I'll wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock. Well, I wake up at 5:30 because you have to be outside at 5:30. And I could jump on anybody's boat. That's how cool our dock is. I can jump on anybody's boat and go fishing with them, man. That's how cool the people are there, bro. You know what I mean? So, I love it. We go out and get some mahi. You get the big, steaks, and, we just won a flounder tournament.
Right. A couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Flounder, man. I have yet to taste this. It's called tile fish. I want to taste it so bad, man. I haven't tasted it before.
You get that around here?
You got to go out. You got to go out far.
Okay.
Far, like maybe 60 miles out, 30 miles out.
That's like for the tunas and stuff too.
Well, that's first time I go tuna fishing.
Yeah.
First time I ever go. I caught a 55-pound tuna, bro. 55 pounds. We're out there the first 15 minutes and catch it. So when it first hit, I hit it and I tried to reel it in. It was like it wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, yo, I think we're snagged or something. He said, nope, it's not snagged. Get it going, boy. Get it going. You gotta
strap him in the chair.
Right.
Put him in a chair. Right.
I said, no, this can't be a fish. He said, oh, yeah, it's a fish. You got to reel it in. See,
Right.
all that stuff you were talking, let's see
Yeah.
how you do this. Man, it took me like maybe 40 minutes, man,
It's
to
a
get
job,
that fish in,
man.
man. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. You know what I'm saying? It was the worst, man. But then when I got it in, man, it was amazing. Amazing
Yeah.
tasting fish, too, man. Mahi was good.
It
Look
is.
at him. Not
91
Reno Mahi.
Not Reno Mahi, says 91 LSXers. Classic. Remember the Reno Mahi story? He was a bartender, wasn't he? At Chickies and Pete's, was it?
Yep.
And then they needed him.
Right.
then that was the year they went into the season without a punt returner, isn't it?
Right. Well, he got cut, and he
Right.
wanted to stick around, so he got a job at Chicky and Pete's.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Sure. Absolutely.
Man, it was amazing.
Was that? Did they start the season that year in Green Bay, and there was a fumble on a kick?
Yep.
I think that's what happened, right? It was just like, what are they doing?
Yeah, Reno's a good dude too, man.
He is a
Reno's
good dude. Yeah.
in fact, he's out there with he's out in Utah right now. You know.
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well, he's a BYU guy.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Those guys all stick together.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
All right, now for this week, Thursday, Friday, because we're going to be getting a good bit of rain apparently on Wednesday, Thursday. The remnants of Ida are going to be rolling through our area.
This is a category 4.
It was a 4 when it hit and made landfall. Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
what it is now. It might be down, to like a 1 or something. I don't know, but that path is now going to come up our way. And Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking at maybe getting 3 to 5 inches of rain. I'm seeing over those 2 days. Now, what is your travel schedule?
I fly out at 5 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Okay.
So I'll be there Thursday. I do our show on Thursday
from Lawrence, Kansas.
Okay. I'll do the show from my hotel room there, and then that night I go do coaches meetings with the University of Kansas at the facility, and then late that night I go to South Dakota and do coaches meeting with them.
Okay.
And then I get up on Friday, do our show, and then the game is that night. So I don't have to be there until probably 3 o'clock.
So you're going to do 2 shows from Lawrence, Kansas, Thursday and Friday. Wow.
2 shows from Lawrence.
Okay.
2 shows.
Well, we'll have a lot of college football on Thursday because there's a couple games that night, and then rehash it on Friday, preview the weekend. I can't wait.
Real football
for the Georgia Clemson game.
Oh.
I can't wait for that one.
Can't wait. I mean, and Georgia's supposed to be taking that next step too.
Yeah,
they're taking that next step. So if they don't, I think they don't have to go through. They don't have to go through Alabama this year. So they might be right there.
Right.
They may be right there.
They have a pretty easy schedule outside of this Clemson game.
Yeah. So they got to get past them.
What did you watch? We'll find out what you watched in college football this past weekend. I tried to watch some of it. I put in a bet on UCLA, and I'll tell you more about it when we come back. We got to take a short time out. We still have a lot to do in the final half hour of the middle here with Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays. You're on YouTube. You got to subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, spread the word, and smash the like button. Back in 3 minutes.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
And we are back for the final half hour of the middle here on Monday, August 30th, almost the end of August, Barrett. Football season.
Can you believe that?
Officially has begun, actually. It began this past weekend, really, with college football. Not a great slate of games, mind you, but I did get a little taste of Illinois, Nebraska towards the end of that game. Brett Bielema and Illinois, their era, started off with a win. Man, this Nebraska team, man, I'll tell you. Not happened.
Right.
It's, he's been there 3 years already. I can't believe it. But I did catch a little bit of that game. Nothing too drastic. I did see a little Hawaii UCLA. And by the time I tuned in, my Bruins, my Chip Kelly Bruins, were in total command that I was like, I'm not watching this. I had already placed a bet earlier in the morning on UCLA's win total.
Oh, I remember you said that. Yep.
For 7. So we're already at 1. We got to get that to cash. I think that's a pretty good bet. That quarterback's pretty good.
Well, at this point, he's taken over a team that was on its way up anyways. They were starting to compete in the Big Ten. So I'm talking
about UCLA. I'm talking about UCLA.
No,
are you talking about Illinois?
Illinois.
Oh,
Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett Bielema. So I can see that team being pretty good. And at the end of the day, Kelly is just, he's just not an NFL coach. He needs that total control.
Yeah.
So it's not like he can't coach. He just can't coach NFL players.
Right.
You have to approach it differently from a college player to an NFL player, because at the end of the day, these guys have full-grown families at home. They have wives and everything else. College teams, there might be a couple guys married, but at the most, these are young guys trying to make it to the next level. So they're going to do whatever to try to, do whatever the coach says. You can't do that when you got a grown man and making twice as much as you make as a head coach. So, his whole philosophy on how he approached the game was just different, man. He had to change that. And since he couldn't change it, that's why he had to go back to the college level where he's more suited. It's the perfect place for him. All the glitz and glamour of being in LA. He can get that program going. Now he has a firm grip on UCLA. The recruiting is going to start getting better. They're going to be a better team because his system is perfect for the college student athlete, man.
Right, and they returned 10 starters on both offense and defense from last year.
Get the heck out of here. That is crazy.
And that quarterback, DTR is what they call him. Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR. Get used to that one. eight wins at least for UCLA. They got LSU next week. UCLA,
not
LSU.
That good.
No, it's not a vintage LSU team, but they're still going to be pretty tough and physical.
Yeah.
They play Fresno State at Stanford. Stanford hasn't been really good the last couple of years.
No.
Arizona State, who's pretty good. They have that at home. At Arizona, they stink. at Washington. Pretty
They
good
stink.
team.
No, they stink.
They do?
Yeah, they're not going to be good in this year.
Oh, no?
No.
That's never an easy place to go play, though.
It's the worst place to play, man. I'll tell you that damn Husky, man.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about when I played them? This is when they won the national championship.
Uh-huh.
I played. This is like the one that won the national championship, I think, in '91, and we played them. And at the time, they had Steve Edman, number one. They had this guy named Mason on the other side. I'm blocking Mason. Steve Edman looks like a man child. And, like all their DBs were like 6'5", 210, 220, Dana Hall and those guys. They beat the snot out of us. In fact, every time they scored, they had a Husky that would run from the 30 to the 30.
Yeah.
So they would run that Husky from the 30 to the 30. Bro, by halfway through the third quarter, they're trying to yank the dog. The dog's like this.
The tongue's dragging.
They don't want to run anymore. It's tired of running. They beat us like 56-6, man.
Wow.
They were killing us, man. And going into that game, like we had a pretty good team. So we thought we were pretty good. We were smelling ourselves. In fact, the night before the game, we were making a big fuss about Coach Snyder, our head coach, not having a ranch for us. Coach, we had a ranch. We had a ranch. Man, after we got through dragging us through the dirt, we got to get out of and went into that locker room, taking our pads off, and he's giving us, he's reaming us out. You say, and say one more thing about some damn ranch. Say something about some ranch again. You just got your butt shellacked out there. You talking about daggone ranch. He was so bad, dog. He was bringing up old stuff. He was just killing us, bro.
When you remember Coach's rants from 25 plus years ago.
Oh, it's about 30.
30 years. Okay, I was trying to be kind. So 30 years ago, that's significant, man.
No question, man.
I'll tell you. Then they got Oregon at home. That's good. That's Utah, that's a tough trip.
Yep.
Colorado home, at USC, rivalry game, and then Cal. So that's one bet too. I figured, since Eytan's not on here detailing his whole weekend of betting,
right?
I figured I'd have to work in one from the weekend because my golf bets did not do all that well this week. Did you happen to see any of the golf?
Of course not. I was too busy looking up film, man. In fact, I did most of my time I spent looking over film on Kansas and South Dakota.
Is that right?
Hard to find a South Dakota game, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, did you find one?
Yeah, I found a couple of them, man. They play in the spring.
Okay, now how do you find this film? Like, where are you going?
I went on YouTube for the most part, and then I called the what do they call them? What is it? I mean, the guy that take care of all that stuff. The SR.
Oh, the SID.
The SID.
Sports Information Director.
Yeah, I called the SID, and he sent me a couple games. The SID.
Okay, yeah. So you got to do some work here to get.
Man. Schools. Then next week I got another game, man. I got Long Island against West Virginia.
Yeah, but they called Long Island something different on your schedule.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm glad you know what? You saved me, man, because you said Long Island.
Yeah.
You saved me because then from that point on, I started looking up. Then I found games, because of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man, it was tough trying to find games, man.
Will there be a point spread on that game? Is it like that could be like a 70-6 game?
Right. Yeah. It won't be not on the Long Island, but the Kansas game it probably will be because they've been trashed for years.
Yeah,
for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, do they get any kind of attendance at these games at Kansas?
Not really. It's not a basketball game, so
no, I know. I would love to go to a basketball game there.
Oh man, it's unbelievable.
At the Fog?
Yeah. I mean, the Barn, man, they make it happen out there, bro. It happen. I actually played there when I told you I played basketball for a year. I was well, put it like this. I was there. I wasn't even dressed. I was in street clothes.
No kidding.
Yeah, me and this other guy, because we didn't have a shot of playing in the Kansas game, bro. But out there, Pierce was out there.
Paul Pierce.
Yep, Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
Jock Vaughn was out there, man. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy time. Being on the basketball squad there.
I'm not finding a line for your game.
Well, there probably won't be
for Kansas.
Nobody thinks about Kansas.
Yeah,
believe that. Nobody thinks about Kansas.
Yeah, Temple Rutgers. Temple's like a 2-touchdown underdog.
Ooh,
and their win total this year I think is ranked around 3, 2.5 or 3. So not projecting to be a very good season. So I don't know. Kansas State starts against Stanford at home, and you're favored by 2.5 points.
How are we favored against Stanford?
I'm telling you, Stanford isn't what they were the last couple of years.
You know, that coach, you know, he was actually
I wanted him as an Eagles coach before they hired Chip Kelly. I was interested in them going to get David Shaw. I remember doing radio shows when the Andy Reid era ended, saying I'd love to go after Shaw. But apparently he had no interest to want to stay in college. But he had some pro experience with the Ravens on their staff, and I think he might have even had another team in the NFL where he was on the staff. And I just thought the way he goes about it, was something that would work in the NFL. But apparently he has no interest.
Well, he was actually a rookie coach when I was a rookie in the league. He was like the quality control guy, not
with the Ravens, right?
No. When I was playing with the Eagles.
Oh, he was there too.
He was there with the Eagles. He's the one that did our scout team. He would draw up the scout team looks.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying, for us. You know what I'm saying?
Under Ray Rhodes.
Yeah, he was on the staff then. That's how I knew him. I'm like, he went up through the ranks, man. He did it the hard way, bro. He did it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? He serving coffee, all that stuff, bro. That's why he's one hell of a coach, man. That's why he's one hell of a coach. Because I mean, he went about things the right way. Went up through the ranks.
You're right. He was a 97 QC quality control for the Eagles.
Right.
Then he went to the Raiders in the same capacity. Then he turned into the quarterbacks coach with the Raiders. Then he went to the Ravens and coached the quarterbacks and the wide receivers before going to college.
Yeah, Dave was that dude, man.
Yeah.
He was a good dude, man, because he was hyper focused. He was always hyper focused. He would have us like when he drew the cards out, he drew exactly, most guys would just put a mark here, put a slash, boom, boom, arrow here. He was like intricate with
very
how
meticulous.
He wrote. Very, very meticulous.
Yeah.
On how he wrote up those cards. And that's what they liked about him, his intensity. And then he would come by and tell us, hey, on this play, I want you guys to sugar up a little bit and then drop back. And when they drop back, then I want you to blitz from the other side. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't draw it on the cards exactly the way he said it, but he would tell us how to do it. So that's what made him a good coach. His attention to detail was great.
That's one of the things that got Andy Reid the gig, the attention to detail.
Yep.
Breaking down the long snap, the importance of the long snapper for 2 hours. Amazing. All right. Now, the Deshaun Watson news. Did you see this come out this weekend?
No, what's that?
Deshaun Watson apparently has not put the Eagles on his list of teams that he would accept a trade to. Believe this. This guy is actually possibly going to go down for misconduct and sexual assault, whatever you want to call it, and he's making demands.
Right. What is he thinking about?
A reporter for the Houston Chronicle named Aaron Wilson pointed this out, that the Eagles he won't waive his no trade for the Eagles. Apparently, there's a couple of teams he's interested in. The Dolphins, which we had heard from the beginning.
We already heard that, yep.
The Panthers, Carolina, even though they say they're committed to Sam Darnold. Now, are you kidding me? If you could get your hands on Deshaun Watson, are you going to pass him up for Sam Darnold?
Sam who?
Right.
Sam who?
And then the Broncos, who have Teddy Bridgewater, and they're saying the same thing. Now, obviously, you got to stand by your guy, but in reality, I don't think either of those teams would take their guy over him.
No, it's no question.
Right?
That's the nature of he would be any of those teams would have bad GMs if they didn't entertain that. If they could get him, and at this point, you still don't know what is the NFL going to make a decision on whether he's exempt or not. You know what I'm saying?
They got to do something soon, right?
Right. They have to going into this season. Because at this point, if they don't put him on the exempt list, you got to play him. You got to play him.
If you're Houston.
Yeah, if you're Houston, you got to play him.
Well, apparently what the asking price is said to be 3 first rounds and 2 second rounders. Now, that's obscene.
They're not getting that. They're not even close to that.
No.
They might get 2 first rounds. Well, I think the reason why they say that because Jamal Adams got 2 first rounders.
Yeah.
and he's just a safety
from Seattle. Yeah,
right.
That was a steal. Joe Douglas might go into the GM Hall of Fame just for that trade.
There's no question about
if there was such a thing. I mean, really,
it's no question about that. They're still they were, at this point, Seattle was bumping themselves and knocking themselves out. Like, man, why did we do this? Because he hadn't signed a deal yet. They finally finished the deal and got him signed. But there was a time where, it was almost the biggest mistake ever for them giving up all this, draft capital for a guy that's not even going to be on the team next year.
Right.
It was a possibility of that. They would have, put a franchise tag on him. But he said there was a way in which he can get off even the franchise tag and go somewhere else. So Jamal. He said Jamal Adams said he might be able to get off the franchise.
Oh,
they had a loophole in which they could do that. So I don't know, but Deshaun at this point, if he's not on the exempt list, you gotta play him. You got to. There'd be no reason not to. You have to play him, man. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, yeah, he's on your roster. He's the best quarterback on your team by leaps and bounds, but I mean, do you run the risk of him getting hurt? Because obviously, I think he's moved on from them. It's sort of a situation, I think, like Carson Wentz, where he doesn't want to be there.
I know he doesn't want to be there, but at the end of the day, he also understands that he can make his value go up and make him more appetizing for a team to want him if he goes out there and balls.
Even with the rest of the talent level that they have around him, which isn't very good on the offensive side.
They haven't had any talent on the offensive side of the ball for years now. They've had nothing.
Well, since they got rid of Hopkins
they got rid of Hopkins. The kid from the speedy kid from
Fuller.
From Notre Dame.
Isn't he in Miami?
Yeah, he's
in
gone.
Miami. Yeah.
So I mean, you're right, man. I mean, you probably couldn't play him because there's no way that they're going to be anything close.
I don't know that he pumps up his value with what they got on that squad. I mean, they already didn't win really anything with him.
Nope.
When he did have talent,
yeah,
I still think he's borderline top 5 quarterback. But
no question, there's no question about that.
3 firsts and 2 seconds.
3 firsts.
No way is a team pulling that off.
How could a team pull it off? It's almost. The
Eagles have multiple first-round picks. You'd scatter the second rounders maybe into the future drafts.
How many first-round picks do they have right now?
They have 2, but they could have 3.
That's right.
If Andre Dillard goes to Indianapolis and secures the offensive line for Carson Wentz and he plays 75% of the snaps, Barrett. Right? Andre Dillard is going to save the day.
Right. And Zach Ertz goes to Minnesota for a 3rd rounder, and we take them 3rd rounder, add them to that 2nd rounder. It might be, and then another first. We might get the deal done. Let's go, Howie.
Let's do it.
Let's go, Howie.
I'm telling you. Imagine how many minutes he's spending on the phone.
Oh,
this
no
week.
Question about that.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. He's thinking of every means possible to do it.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like Hurts, but we're talking about a guy that's generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A proven generational talent who hadn't had a team that really believed in him in so long. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and a digital man.
Right.
Which I still, they got to get some kind of, whoever gets him has got to get some kind of control over that. But did you see this? Tony Romo, apparently his eligibility for the Hall of Fame is 2022. And Jerry Jones was asked about a potential bid for Romo to the Hall of Fame when he appeared on 103.5 The Fan in Dallas.
Stop, Harry. Stop. Are you kidding me?
Well, I think there's no question in my mind that Tony is skilled at a skilled level and has had accomplishments statistically that were there. The fact that we did not have a Super Bowl during that time is always going to be in the conversation as to where Tony Romo will rank or not rank, but where he's acknowledged. Now you're talking to a guy that he would be a 1st round ballot with me, and I don't apologize for that, Barrett.
Unapologetic.
That was the quote from Jerry Jones on Tony Romo. Romo was a miracle. Going to the Hall of Fame. Come on,
man. Are you kidding me?
I love Tony Romo because I think
man.
he's cool to hang out with, play some golf. He's a great broadcaster, but he is not even in the zip code next to the zip code of Canton, Ohio as a player.
I tell you what, Mac would be number 5 will always be with us.
Right.
Would be closer to the Hall of Fame
easy.
than Tony Romo.
Easy. And I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Mac, but there's not even a question.
Come on, man. Come on now. Tony Romo, talk your guys up. I can understand talking your guys
right.
up.
But
I bet you said Zeke is 1 vote away right now, huh?
Yeah. Right.
He has 1 foot in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Get out of here.
Now
get out of here.
McNabb was better than Romo, and so was Randall, says smile and be happy. Yeah,
right.
way better. Yeah.
Exactly, man. That's oh my goodness. That is crazy.
Well, when
man.
I saw that, I just figured, this is a good opportunity to roll out a little Jared Jones.
Oh,
that's all.
It goes only the best shows we have. You gotta have little Jerry in it. You know what I'm saying? We could pour out a little bit of this wine for him.
Right, and Josh.
Oh my
Josh
goodness,
wine. Yeah. But he's just delusional. I mean, why would you go on and just say, granted, you're going to talk the guy up, but you don't have to say that, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer in your view. That's ridiculous.
You don't have to lie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just out and out, just going to lie.
That destroys credibility for anything else that you say.
Nothing yet.
Doesn't it?
There's nothing else you could say right now that says anything close to him being a Hall of Famer. His numbers don't even look like a Hall of Famer.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The winning that he's done is not. I mean, he's never played in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Come on,
he hardly played in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, a couple of playoff games. They beat the Eagles.
No, they did.
With Romo, but then wasn't it Seattle where he fumbled that snap when he was going to be holding it for the field goal or the extra point? I forget which one. That was a playoff game. I'm reading Jeff McClain here on Twitter at Jeff_McClain. Does a great job covering the Eagles. Been having prognosticators' remorse. Would probably cut Hightower, keep Toth, cut Teron Jackson, and keep Patrick Johnson. Now he says cut Teron Jackson. That was a draft pick. That was that kid out of Coastal Carolina, right?
Coastal Carolina.
Defensive end.
75. You know what I'm saying? Flashed a lot.
Right. Do you agree with that? What have you seen out of Teron Jackson? Has he impressed you?
He has, but not enough to make the roster, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Is that one of those guys that you hope to cut and you can re-sign to your practice squad?
Yes. Hopefully he clears waivers
to
be on the practice squad. And I think he would clear waivers, but it's going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? You see what happened the last couple of times. I tell you what, the Washington football team does that a lot. They go in and get guys from our squad and coach them, and they end up being pretty good, man. Last year, let me see, what's his name? Let me see. His name was Casey Tohill.
Oh, Tohill, yeah. Did he play at Stanford?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he's a Stanford guy.
Yep, played at Stanford. Yep.
Yeah.
He is he's on their squad right now.
Yeah.
He's in the rotation.
Defensive end. I remember him in college.
Yep. So they grab guys like him all the time. But at this point, there's so many DNs on this roster that they're gonna have to sneak him in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the defensive ends we have. We haven't even talked about
Kerrigan.
Yeah, Kerrigan. He's still hurt. With his hand. But you have Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, Ryan Kerrigan, Josh
Barnett's
Sweat.
been hurt.
Yep. Milton Williams has played more on the outside. He's played on the inside. So I would say he's a defensive end also. That's a lot of guys you're carrying into the fold. Then you have Teron Jackson. I think that he's going to have to be on the practice squad. As far as D linemen, I think you got Fletch, Hargraves,
Barrett and Graham are the starters. And then
Sweat's coming off the bench. Yep.
Ridgway, Kerrigan. Yeah.
T.Y. McGill is going to make the squad. T.Y. McGill.
They were talking about him on Friday night.
He flashed a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're going to cut Marlon, was it Tuipolatu?
Yeah, Tuipolatu. He was a draft pick too.
He sucks. Oh my goodness. They ran over. They couldn't stop the run. I mean, he was just like a sift out there. They were driving him out. I mean, I could see if it was a double team block. It wasn't even double team blocks. It was man on man, him getting drove out. So I can't see him making the squad.
And then Patrick Johnson is another pass rushing linebacker guy.
Right. And I don't know. I don't quite understand what they're doing with that. Patrick Johnson and Jannard Avery. It's almost like they want to run a 3-4. And those are the guys that designated blitzing linebackers like on the 3-4. So I guess they're going to run it like an over front and have them be a defensive end / cover guy that can cover tight ends and backs out of the backfield.
Okay.
You know, both guys should probably do it. They're more suited to do it. But I mean, at this point, you know, during game time situations, they haven't shown that in games. They shown them at linebacker level during the games, but not, you know, they don't show them to be rushing, you know what I'm saying, just at, you know, linebacker level. I want to see him on the line at the Sam linebacker position over the tight end and then rush off the tight end like in a blitz capacity. Yeah,
now Smile and Be Happy brings up another name that they drafted a year or so ago. Sharif Miller. Where's he? He says
he's out of football.
He got cut by another NFL team.
Yeah, he's out of football.
He was a Philly kid.
Yeah, he was tripping, man. I mean, he was, you know, he got all kind of stuff going on in his life, man. You know what I'm saying? Women problems.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? He, you know, shady dealings and stuff, man. You know, Sharif he just couldn't, you know, get out the streets, man. He got to focus, man. He couldn't get out them streets, man.
He was pretty good at Penn State, but
yeah, the streets have him, man.
He was a 4th round pick.
Right.
Wow. Dude, he used to go through. Now I know it happens to every team, but we only care about this team. So many players that they just, you know, we brag about all these draft picks when they have a lot of picks, and half of them get cut anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
we actually used to be like, oh, Howard did a great job.
Yeah,
we got 10 picks going into the draft. 10 picks.
He got 2 more 4th rounders in this deal. Yeah. Okay. Cut. Sharif Miller. I just looked up his page here. Eagles in 19, Carolina Panthers in 20, Eagles again in 20, Arizona Cardinals and the Falcons in 2021. And there's practice squad, and apparently he just got released again.
I hate to do it.
Talk about bouncing around.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're going to bounce. We're going to have one final set of commercials here, and we will be back tomorrow. You and I will go more into this 53-man roster. We got to hit on that New York Mets story, too. We didn't have enough time.
Right.
That happened this weekend with the thumbs down.
Exactly.
We talk about our baseball team is a disaster, even though they won a couple of games against the Diamondbacks. The Mets are totally imploding.
I can't believe it, too.
I know. You know, they get Lindor in the offseason. Nobody can hit. It's a disaster. Right. We'll be back. We'll talk about that, a whole lot of Eagles roster stuff, and we'll mix in a couple of guests on the Tuesday edition of The Middle. For Barrett Brooks, I'm Harry Mays. We're out.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, we got this.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.